they locked everyone in the room and it's just a free fall with chairs flying. I remember screaming. I'm like 5 and they said, take this kid out. Now, I don't know if that's genuine, but I'm sure, Fight Club, Fight Club.
Yeah.
I think there was a Fight Club. Like, I don't know if I'm so traumatized that it's real or not, but if you're a business owner, which you are, or if you manage a football team, are you going to accept your staff not coming in X number? You give them the P45. I see how easy it is to get caught up and I see how hard it is to leave. And the only reason I was able to leave was because I had to go to university in Manchester.
Welcome to the Mind Your Business podcast. My name's Jav and today it is a solo one. Michael's not here. I had to hold down the fort. But yeah, we got a very, very special guest. Someone who grew up in the same borough as me. Someone who is running for mayor of Lewisham Borough. A former apprentice contestant. And someone who's been labelled by some of the papers as the smoothest talker on TV, Mr. Kayode Damali. Firstly, thank you for coming, man. I
Pleasure,
appreciate
man.
being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're on a bit of a run because we just did a podcast with Frederick Afrifa from The Apprentice. So yeah, it wasn't done intentionally, but it seems like we're getting a lot of apprentice people recently. And there's a lady who was on The Apprentice who opened a boxing gym in like Camberwell or Brixton.
Oh, Marnie?
Yeah.
Marnie Swindles, yeah.
I was actually in her gym maybe like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I was in the gym about 3 weeks ago. So yeah. So before we get into it, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just excited. Great weather outside.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just enjoying the weather, enjoying the vibes, enjoying running for mayor.
Yeah, wicked, man. Cool. Well, there's a lot I want to cover. There's a lot I want to talk about. But before we do that, we have like a tradition on the podcast and we always ask everyone who's on the pod, we always ask this one question. What's been on your mind recently?
Well, that's a deep one.
Yeah.
What are you saying here? I'm always saying take a sip. Y'all got to take a sip for that one still.
What's been on your mind, man? What's been on your mind?
And I'm the smoothest talker on TV, so I got to give you something smooth as well, right? I think what's been on my mind lately is, I think running in the Mayor of Lewisham election is something I'm proud of in a sense that what's been on my mind is that we're in the World Cup year, right? It's going to be the World Cup year. I realised that in my life, I'd like to see my life as a World Cup. I need to do something big every 4 years or so to really push myself. So like, yes, I was on The Apprentice and now this is like the next big thing. And I realized like this morning, like, wait, I'm always trying to do something to push myself. And that's what's been on my mind. Because when I told a friend of mine I'm running for Mayor of Lewisham election, he was like, he wasn't surprised. He's like, he said to me, you always,
something.
every couple of years, whether it's a World Cup or what, I'm always pushing myself to do something. That's been on my mind.
That's wicked, man. Cool. Well, to answer my question about that,
you answer it too?
Yeah. So we all have
Okay.
to answer it.
All
That's
right,
like a part of the podcast, isn't it? We all have to answer like what's on your mind. I would say for me right now, it's been very business focused. Yeah. So it's just like, obviously I've opened this space and we've been pushing it. And I made a video about how many sales we made. And it was like to inform people about the journey, because a lot of people think entrepreneurship is just this.
That's not
money, bro. Like, you understand? There's times where you're in the red.
Yeah.
You know, so like I made that video and it was so funny, the reaction I've got, like loads of people messaging me, DMing me since I made that video about like how the first month since we opened this space has been. So yeah, business, man, loads of different ideas. I've had other studio owners message me as well with like what they do. So it was kind of interesting how just telling my story made people want to reach out to me.
Yeah, I saw that video. I clicked like, I enjoyed the transparency, I enjoed the honesty. You know?
Yeah. It's so funny as well because the day I was editing that video, I had like 5 sales back to back. But it was too late. I was too deep in the edit.
You done it, yeah.
So I was like, nah, I'll just tell you how it is now. Then the next one I'll say, I made X amount of sales, you know what I mean? So yeah, cool. Anyway, bro. So there's a lot we want to cover. So before we get into the whole election stuff, I do want to know a little bit more about you personally. Obviously, I've seen you in the gym. We train at the same gym. Like, I've seen you around the area for a long time. You know, so what I want to know is more like your story. So where was you born, raised? Like, give me a bit of a backdrop about you personally.
Sure. So like, you know, in fact, I was in the gym again this morning, actually, before we came, the same gym we used to train in. My backdrop to me, so born and bred Lewisham, you know what I mean? Technically speaking, if you want to be real technical, I'm giving you something I've never really said anywhere else. Technically speaking, we used to live on Sangley Road, you know, but I don't know this on here. But I happened to be born in the hospital in Surrey because it just happened to be there because my mum wanted to have a water birth. So they left Catford to go to Surrey, quickly give birth to me, then come back. So technically, I'm not born in Lewisham, but can I say that? Yeah. I mean, but obviously, I grew up on Sangley Road. That's where the first house I ever knew. And yeah, so literally my whole life, Catford, Lewisham, went to Mary's Primary School, Forest Hill Secondary School before I went off to university. So Lewisham through and through.
Okay. So was you always at Sangley Road, or did you move?
Yeah, so that was the first house when my parents met. So Sangley Road, and then once my sister, I'm the oldest of four to give you a backstory.
Okay.
So then once them lot started to come along, my family moved to a bigger house in Lewisham, or Catford really.
You're still in Catford though?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your heritage?
So my heritage, a lot of people hear my name being Kayode. It's bad. Whenever I meet a Nigerian, I always feel bad because I say my name's Kayode. They're like, hey, they start talking in like Yoruba. I'm like, how do I let her down? It's like, how do I tell her? Sometimes I just nod, you know. I'm like, yeah, I kind of have the heart to tell this old Nigerian woman that I ain't got a clue what she's saying when I tell her my name.
Yeah.
But I'm not Nigerian. Do you know what I mean? Contrary to popular beef, yes, my name's Nigerian, but I'm not Nigerian. So my mum was born in Trinidad and my dad grew up in Barbados. They met in their 20s. When my mum came over to England before my dad, but my dad came over in his 20s. Right. They met. Like my passport's Trinidad. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
so like, yeah. So I'm not Nigerian, contrary to popular belief.
Okay.
Where are you from? You Jamaican?
I'm Jamaican, yeah. But I get Ghanaian a lot though. So
right, what a Javan.
Yeah, I get Ghanaian. Even before they hear my name, bro, like.
Oh, because
they think I've got name. Yeah, they think
swear.
I've got name. Then when I tell them my name, they're like, nah, this guy ain't got name, bro. So
no, but I mean, I lived in Jamaica for like a few months, so there's a lot of Ghanaian heritage.
Yeah, exactly.
A compound town.
Yeah. I always say to people, bro, we're all African, innit? Like, whether we just don't know it, we're all African. So, okay, cool. So, what was life like for you? Because obviously you grew up in Catford. I grew up in Catford. I grew up in Bellingham, but I say Bellingham's Catford. Bellingham is. So, like, what was life like for you in Catford, man, growing up as a young person?
I think it was growing up in Catford. I loved it. I think I was alright primary, secondary. I think it was towards the tail end of secondary where I myself went a bit off the rails myself.
Okay.
But primary, secondary, I couldn't have gone wrong. I mean, yes, there's a lot of situations in Lewisham that perhaps I shouldn't have been exposed to. Like I always say, I remember the first time I saw someone got beat up, it must have been like 5 going towards Tesco in Catford.
Yes.
And then I just seen some guys running to the shop, another guy running after him, and then my parents holding me back, don't go in. And then next time I see the guys running out, then the other guys run out and then he's all bleeding. And these things have stayed with me. You know what I mean? These things have stayed with me. And there's been a few situations like that growing up in Lewisham and Catford where I distinctly remember violence. But other than that, I think, my parents did a good job, keeping me protected, me and my siblings, and yeah.
Okay, that's interesting, because as you say that, you see how you remember stuff that, like, I remember similar things. Well, in Bellingham, there's the green cage in the park. Like, I remember the first time I saw someone get battered in that park, bro. And I don't know, like, you remember all the bad young, innit? And I remember the first time, like, similar story, bro. Like, all these boys just come, imagine we're playing football in there, and all these boys just come rushing in there and they just wrapped up some guy, bro. I didn't even know.
How old were you at the time?
I must have been like maybe 8 or 9. I was old enough to know what was going on. And I never forget it. I don't know why though, because no one troubled me. I was just there, just a bystander in the park playing football, because I used to play football every day in that park. I just never forget. These guys just ran in the cage, bro. And when I say,
Playing football with or just
he was playing football with us.
Is he? But 8-year-old?
But he's older. No, he's older.
Okay.
So he's older. So you're in the area, you're chilling with the elders, playing football with the elders. He's older, and they just, bro, it was dark.
I used to come Bellingham quite a bit still. I had a brethren, like, shouts out to Jordan. He lived in Bellingham, him and his brother Casey. When I used to see them.
Yeah. Casey's playing. Where's he at?
Luton now.
He's at Luton now. Yeah.
And that's the thing. So this is what, I know you did a video on it. I think I saw your TikTok in like October talking about how we're numb to it in the borough.
Yeah.
And like for me, but I think it's sad that the violence. When we hear violence happening in the borough now, it's just like, oh, it is what it is, because you've been exposed to it from young. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. No.
I remember one time. I still don't know if this is genuine. Maybe one of the viewers can confirm it for me or not. Because I don't know if I made this up in my head or if it's genuine, but I remember being in primary school in like an after school club. They locked everyone in a room and it's just a free fall with chairs flying. I remember screaming. I'm like 5 and they said, take this kid out. Now, I don't know if that's genuine, but I'm sure, Fighter Club, Fighter Club.
Yeah.
I think there was a fight club. Like, I don't know if I'm so traumatized that it's real or not, but maybe someone else will confirm in St. Mary's Place. And was there that fight club where chairs were flying out? I don't want to say the member of staff's name. He's probably passed away now, but like, I just remember screaming my head off and they saying, yeah, get him out, he's too young, get him out, he's too young. But these things stay with you and they definitely shape you.
Yeah, for real, bro. That's crazy. So you mentioned, so you went to Forest Hill Boys, yeah? School. Okay. So Joe Gomez went there, innit? Joe went.
Yeah, Joe. I left by the time Joe came.
Okay, you're a bit older than him.
Yeah,
you're like 3 or 4 years older than him.
He was Casey's year, but I left because Jordan was my class. Casey.
So he's like 4 years younger than you. So you or
Joe,
5.
Yeah, so I've never actually met Joe, but obviously when I saw that we got a guy from Forest Hill winning Champions League, winning Premier League, of course I was gassed.
Yeah, of course.
Even though
I always think like,
you believe him? He's yours.
I played against him a lot of times. He's a year below me in school.
Was he cold?
Yeah, he's good. He was good. I played against him a lot of times.
Or academy level? Or...
Yeah. So when he was at Charlton, I was at Palace. So played against him maybe 2 or 3 times. But I know Joe fairly well. Like we've always been cool with each other. You know, Joe, the way that I kind of see Joe is like he's always been like very focused.
It's good.
He's always been a focused kid like from day one. So yes. Okay, so how was Forest Hill Boys for you, like as a teenager growing up? Because I know people have this conception of boys' schools, innit? So
I'm glad I went Forest Hill. Like, no disrespect to any other schools in Lewisham Borough. So most people from, it was strange because I came to Forest Hill from Catford and I was the only one, because most people from Forest Hill was in like Forest Hill, Sydenham.
Yeah, they lived that way.
That area. But I remember like from my primary school, it was just me.
Yeah.
And then, so when I didn't really know anyone. So I had a few issues in year 7, I didn't really know anyone. Everyone else was kind of cliquey. But other than that, once I settled in, it was fine. Like, it's either that or go to Sedghill.
Yeah, why did you go to Sedghill, bro?
Well, at the time it was Mallory, but it turned into Knights Academy. I was happy at Forest Hill. And it wasn't even a thing of that, it's just boys' school. I didn't really know any. I didn't know anybody. And I was so focused on football then anyway. Do you know what I mean? Playing my county level, district level. I didn't get as far as you, but Charles, I had here and there. Do you get what I mean? I just remember the people always used to call me like younger Despot. Now, there's a rapper called Desperado.
Yeah.
They used to walk up to me saying like, "You're in a cater." You know what I mean? I say later. I'm like, I didn't even know who. I didn't nothing about who this guy. You're Despot. But then I kind of,
you look like him.
Apparently, I don't see it. I don't see it. But maybe you need to see my school picture.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I remember the older used to call me like Despot. But I kind of fit.
That's funny. Okay, so one thing here I'll say. You know, growing up in Lewisham, and I don't want to just talk about negatives because there are positives of Lewisham, which we'll get to. But, you know, for me, growing up in Lewisham, a big part of it that there's a landscape you have to navigate, which is obviously the violence, and almost the gang sort of stuff that was happening. And, you know, we're around a similar age group. You're a bit older than me, but, you know, at them times, we had Grove Park, we had Catford, we had Deptford, we had New Cross. There was a lot happening. How was it for you, like, was that ever a problem for you? Was it any difficulties navigating that? Because, you know, I'll tell you from my standpoint, because I was playing football, I don't know, I think that was a way for me to kind of circumvent really getting involved in any of that trouble, even though I had friends that were deep into what was happening at those times. None of that ever came to my doorstep because they just see me as a guy who kicks balls. So obviously I know people, but I was never really needed to get involved in that. I never had any trouble. So how was it for you, especially at that time? Things are a bit different now, like navigating that.
I think the first time when I witnessed like a robbery, I was playing for Bromley FC at the time, where we used to train kind of near Copers Cope, near Crystal Palace. We used to train.
I
think it was Sydenham High had it.
HSBC. Not HSBC. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
near Worsley Bridge.
Yeah. So I used to play for Bromley, and then I remember one time I had a brethren. He lived in Peckham or Nunhead, and he used to come. We used to live together. Bromley, a lot of people used to live in Kent. They lived wherever, but it's me and him kind of from Lewisham, like
that side. Yeah.
So we got a bus maybe like 202 from Sydenham to Catford, and another bus from Catford to go towards Lewisham. And then I'll never forget, there's a gang at the time called Catford Wildcats. And we're on the top of the bus at the back. And then these youths just come on the bus. And these times, like, we had what phones were out in 2006? Maybe like a... maybe like a little basic something, do you know what I mean? Maybe like a little basic something. And then they kind of looked at me and thought, okay, that they kind of knew me from Catford, like Wildcats is a gang in Catford. But they didn't know my brethren who's from Peckham Nunhead. And I just remember it happened so quickly. They just grabbed his phone, got off the bus, and obviously I still had my phone. Then he came to my house where my dad and his dad was, And it's like, where's your phone? And it's like, they took it. And that was the first time I kind of been like, raw. Then I thought bad. They didn't take my phone. They took his phone, but they kind of knew me because being from the area. So that was my first time kind of seeing that, right. It made me realize that whether you like it or not, it felt like as a teen, you were involved. You were involved regardless. So then I'm glad you mentioned football, because football was my outlet to keep me away from it. But I remember in year 11, that's when everything went downhill, because in the September of year 11, like our school, we had a very decent school football team.
Yeah.
And we were playing a school from Peckham called Sacred Heart. I don't know if you know Sacred Heart, like Camberwell. Yeah. And you know, you already had that Lewisham Peckham issue. Do you know what I mean? So they came Elm Lane. We used to play at Elm Lane in Catford. I think I was captain or I was centre mid or whatever reason. I'm in the pitch, just playing the game. I looked left. Next, you know, it's all kicking off. Then it turned into like a 22-man brawl.
Right.
And then and then what happened is that the fight happened. They then said to our year 11 team is scrapped. No more school football for year 11. And then what I noticed is that everyone who kind of used football as the outlet then just started to turn to road, because we never had anything else to look forward to at school.
Right, yeah.
And then I remember it was the year 11 like open evening. I think, you know, when you look at the different sixth forms.
Okay.
And at the time it was Hillside, so it was a combination of Forest Hill, your school, and Sydenham Girls. And so throughout the year, I'm just seeing people who I once knew who are really good, seeing their behavior change throughout the year. Like people starting to come to school with hoodies, people coming to school with, you know, you can tell that the mannerisms have changed. And because year 11 for me, I realized, all right, I'm not making it pro anymore. I think at the time I was playing county level, that was the highest. I realized that I wasn't on the books of any academies, and by that time it's difficult. I remember one time it was the year 11 open evening for the Hillside. It was at Sydenham Girls. And I don't want to glorify that side of that life for me, but because I did well in that 22 man, if you want to call it that, right? Whatever doing well is, you say you should roll. So I was like, yeah, cool. I'm thinking nothing of it. I'm thinking I went to school with these guys for 5 years, nothing of it. But then I should have realized when they said, oh, when you come, make sure you bring a hoodie. Something like our school banned hoodies. I don't know if it was that in your school. Did your school ban hoodies?
Couldn't wear hoodies.
Yeah, so at some point in school they banned hoodies. They said, no, you got to come with a hoodie. So I'm thinking, okay, thinking nothing. Yes, cool. We used to wear hoodies. Okay, I'll wear a hoodie. So I'm coming from Catford to Forest Hill outside the station where the W. Smith is. Everyone's linking up there.
Yes.
I'm thinking nothing of it. Thinking, okay, I'll go to school with these guys. Yeah, we're going to carry them walking down to Sydenham Girls. But then 1 second, one of the guys started to do something. I'm like, okay, he needs to do something. Okay, what? Go to a shop, get a drink. Like, I'm thinking, what he needs to do? So I had about by the bus stop. I'm thinking he must know this you at the bus stop. He must know this you because he sat down talking to him. And then by the blink of an eye, next thing you know, boom, everyone's legged it. I'm thinking to myself, I'm confused. I'm so naive to what's going on. Footballer, next thing you know, I'm caught up in stuff which I wasn't even aware of. Then we're going towards freaking, the guy didn't even chase after me. We're just carrying on walking towards Sydenham Girls. And I'm still trying to process what has happened.
So they robbed.
I don't know. I didn't even know what happened. I can't even focus in the open evening. They're like, do you want to do A-levels in this? I don't know. My head's fried. I'm trying to figure out. I've been in school with this guy for 5 years. As far as I'm concerned, he was as good as gold. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that at the end of the open evening, now it's dark. Now it's dark. Say we went to the open evening, say like 5, whatever.
Right.
Say then to 7, 8, whatever. Now I'll come outside and it's dark. Now there's a bag of youths outside Sydenham Girls. And then they're saying to me like, oh, you should roll. Thinking, okay, cool. Obviously, I know these guys from school. And then they said, let me introduce you to some people. They're like, this is my man, that's my man. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh crap. You know, back in the day growing up, we didn't really know people by face because there's no social media. You just heard names.
Yeah.
So they're saying,
so.
Yeah. So they're saying, this is my man, younger this. I'm like, oh, I swear. Yeah. What's good? Yeah, you're good. This is my man. That's my man. I'm just hearing these names and now I'm rolling with them. And then that evening, we went down, I think, like from Forest Hill to a Stansted Road. The best way I describe it to people is that I felt that our batch was like a tornado because I kid you not, anything we walked down just got sucked in. Like it literally felt like a tornado. So I remember getting home that evening, scratching my head thinking, what has happened? Like what is going on? One minute I'm playing football for year 11. Next thing you know, I'm in the freaking batch with all these guys who I only knew of by name. They said, this guy's got a strap on him if you need to. This guy's got this guy's got that. I'm thinking, raw. And then got home, scratching my head thinking, what just happened? Then the next morning I realized, right, now I'm involved. Do you get what I mean? And that's what happened to me.
Okay. So like, were there any consequences to that?
Oh
for you?
gosh, yeah, like there were consequences. Like I don't know how innocent we want to keep this podcast. Maybe we're gonna say this for another.
So it's up to you, bro. It's up to you.
Wait.
You can say as much as you want, bro.
I think maybe say this for another one. Let's just say like it wasn't easy.
Right.
Just say it wasn't easy. Maybe if the viewers like it, we can do a follow-up post section when it's a bit more safer, maybe. But it wasn't easy, and that's why I think for me, I have a lot of empathy, maybe a bit more than others, when I see some of the young people caught up in the road, because I see how easy it is to get caught up, and I see how hard it is to leave. And the only reason I was able to leave was because I had to go to university in Manchester. So it's 16, I always call it like my 2-year road career, if you want to call it that, from 16 to 18. And the only reason I finished is because I had to go to uni in Manchester, because I failed college. College was never going to happen due to our lifestyle. So it's no wonder I failed college. I applied for universities like Greenwich, like Brunel, local. I'm trying to say local to be on ends, you get what I mean? But I failed college, so I had to go through the clearing process, meaning that when you go through the clearing process, you got to kind of take what you're given. They said, we've got space for you in Manchester. Okay, cool. Next year, I'm off to Manchester.
You went to MMU, right?
MMU.
Yeah. Okay.
And then as I'm there, and again, we didn't really have social media like that. I'm only hearing stories of what's happening when I'm awake. I never used to come back. When I was up there, I kind of stayed and saying that. Then like, he's gone jail now. He's caught this case. Then I felt a lot of like survivor's guilt. Do you get what I mean? Because when I was gone, everyone got sentenced. Everyone was gone. You know what I mean? And then when I did move back to London, it's just nice. I think this is why even more I have such a calling just to help, because I've seen good people, even till now, there's still people in jail from my time. Still now.
Yeah.
You know, so I know.
It's so funny though, because like your experience, sounds like so many people in Lucian, bro. Like I can tell you, I've got at least 3 or 4 friends that are still in jail that from when I was 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some of them were innocent, bro. I've seen them where, like in school, they wouldn't hurt a fly.
Good youth.
All of a sudden, I've just heard, did you know he did XYZ to my man? I'm like, what? This guy that we used to par in school, like. So it's so funny you say that, because our stories, and if Michael was here, he probably have a similar story.
When did he go to school?
He went to St. Matthews.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went to the same school, and then I left to go to Jill after year 8.
Okay.
And then he stayed. I don't know if he finished St. Matthews though, but that's another story. But I'll let him come in.
He's not here to tell the story.
He's not here to tell the story, exactly. So, okay. So, all right. So, you quick one, because before you came, obviously I like to do some research on my guests, and I read that both your parents are educational psychologists. Is that true? Really? Okay. So how? Before we get into a bit more the Lewisham stuff, and obviously your run for mayor, how did that kind of play a part in your childhood?
I think it played a part of my childhood. I remember seeing letters come to the house saying that at the time the business name Limited. So I was always, people say, how did you get into business? I didn't realize from young, I was kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, manifesting or whatever. I was always aware of there was that option. I used to see something limited,
right.
Which is like why I haven't got kids, but my niece, I like to bring her around. If you weren't in school now, I would probably like to just come and take it in. Just take it in. Like even from some of the campaign, I'm saying, come with me door knocking, come with me to... Yeah. So from childhood, you know, these things kind of... See, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, you're just aware of these things, you know? And... You know, my mum she was a parent governor at my primary school. I'm a governor of a school now. And for me, it's like these things were like no-brainers, because I kind of been open to it through childhood. And I guess hence why I was kind of encouraged to study psychology at university, because my parents were educational psychologists.
Okay.
And again, it goes back to the fact that you can come from a good home. A lot of people come from good homes, but still go down the wrong path.
Yeah.
So, but it definitely did have a positive influence, them being educational psychologists. Because even when I used to tell friends, like my parents are psychologists, I'm thinking nothing of it, but they're like,
"Oh wow, yeah, bro." That's when I read it. It's like, okay, that's you don't hear that. You don't hear that very often. You know, like 2 black parents being educational psychologists. It sounds it's a good thing to hear, obviously. And yeah, I think that's why I even asked, because I just wanted to verify it, because I read it. I was like, to verify, is that a fact? Like,
yeah.
That's good though. That's good.
And even the name Damali, they came, like, that's not their name. They decided to come together and call ourselves Damali. I'm giving you mad exclusive, you know. No one else is hearing this stuff.
So that's not neither of their names.
That's not even of their of their names. They, again, my dad moved to UK from Barbados in his 20s. They joined a black group called ACE. I want to say it was called Ace Damali, you know.
Okay.
I think it was called Ace Damali. Again, I remember as a children seeing ACE all around the house.
Right.
And then they decided to, within not just them, but within the groups, a lot of my dad's friends when I was growing up, whether it's like godparents or whatever, most of them all changed their names from what they were originally had. So again, it just opened my eyes to another way of living and thinking rather than the traditional British.
Yeah. And I guess with that, especially as a Caribbean, you know, the unfortunate reality is that we're carrying us like slave names, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's what they want to change that. They want to, so could you still carry yours?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's a good point, bro. That's something that I thought about actually, but I feel like my dad would be upset if I just told him. Yeah.
What's yours?
Palmer.
Oh, Palmer. Yeah, Palmer.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's a good point though. That's interesting. Okay. So to change speeds a little bit, I do want to talk about The Apprentice, and I don't want to talk about it for too long, but I want to talk about it because obviously that is a big part of where people know you from. Would you say that's like where you got your biggest exposure?
I'll say so, yeah, definitely.
So you went in 2018. I did ask Frederick the same question. Like, what made you want to do The Apprentice, bro?
So what made me want to apply is that at the time when I finished university in 2013, I then became vice president and governor of the university until 2014. Then when I finished my time in office, that's when I started business. And at the time, I was running an events business in the Northwest. So we used to put on events from as far as Liverpool, Manchester, Stafford, Chester, Crewe, Cheshire, like all over the Northwest. And it was popping. Like, we had a sick run. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, I had accolades such as being like top 10 of the top 100 most powerful young entrepreneurs in the world. At the time, I mean, I remember meeting Stephen back in 2014 time, Stephen Bartlett. Like, we were both in that same kind of list, and we both went to university in Manchester at the same time. He dropped out. You probably know his story, right?
Yeah.
And so business was going well for me from 2013, 2014 times. It went so well that I wouldn't even be in the country and I would have events going on. I know you probably experienced things like that before.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one time I went to Australia for New Year's in 2014. I had events going on in Manchester. I'm not even in the freaking country. Do you know what I mean?
You had a good setup.
Yeah, and I remember in 2015, I'm in America. I was working I know you're into health and fitness. I was working as a fitness coach in summer 2015 in America, and I still had events going on in Manchester. So it went really, really well. And I think January was the time of the year when students came back. We really had a good month. So let's just say we had a good month, January 2015, good month, January 2016. January 2017 is getting a bit more shaky. All right, maybe things aren't going as well. January 18, something needs to change. So I remember, like I said, January was typically one of our biggest months of the year. Started to go downhill in 17, 18. I remember watching the TV, coming back from an event thinking, no, man, this event stuff isn't working anymore. The Apprentice must have been on like, I don't know what episode, like the final episode or whatever. And it's saying, Lord Sugar's like, if you want to have your chance to come on to The Apprentice, click apply, whatever. So I said to myself, you know what, like, why not? Like, my main thing was the events. Events aren't going as well. Let me just apply and I thought nothing COVID. Let me just pull it in. This must have been, let's just say the deadline was midnight. I probably applied at like 23:45. Do you know what I mean? Quarter to midnight, thinking nothing COVID. Next morning or whenever it is, oh, you're through to the next round. I was like, oh, I swear, because I can't remember. I'm sure I applied in 2017 because I knew it was getting rocky. But then I'm thinking, what's the point of me applying again in 2018? Because nothing's changed. In fact, my business is even worse. You know what I mean? That's even worse.
Yeah.
So I think 2017, I might have applied just to be like, oh, okay, let me do this. Is sick. I've got a sick business. This is sick. 2018, I'm in the worst position financially, business-wise, worst position. Let me just apply. And I remember keeping it so raw in the application, like not even polished, like, I believe I should.
Right.
I'm like, listen, my business is crap. Things are flopping. Let me just come on and try a thing. I probably just said it so raw, like thinking nothing of it. Next, you know, you got through to the next round, you know, and it's in Manchester at the time. And then, you know, the process week after week to keep going through.
Wow. So you got in the first time you applied, yeah?
I think it's the second. I think in 2017.
You applied in 2017.
I need to go through the emails, but I'm sure I proper put effort into it, thinking
that one didn't work.
That one didn't work. Then the next year, 2018, I was like, I'm just telling them raw. I think it must have been the midnight. I'm not drunk, and I'm just come back from an event, tired.
Yeah.
Thinking.
That's funny because Frederick applied twice as well, actually. He said the similar thing. He applied twice as well. That's interesting. So was the mindset or the thought process like, oh, if I do it, I'll be able to like grow and scale my business or learn how to open a new business? Or was it like, what was your thought process like in terms of what to achieve?
My thought process was, I wanted to start a new business.
Okay.
I wanted not the events from what I was doing in the Northwest. I wanted to do something new. So that was my whole thing. I was like, why not? Like at the time I wanted to go into like tech and apps and stuff like that. And I needed.
And apps were popping.
Yeah. So 2017, 2018 time, I thought it was I mean, till now, I still think it's a sick. When I look at my business plan, it was so thorough. You know, when I didn't get as far as week 11. But like, it's literally, if I got to week 11, my business plan was so, there's no AI, no chat GBT. This is your head. Do you know what I mean? I remember going so ham with it. Like, and that's what I wanted to take onto the show. So it wasn't the offense, it was a new business idea, but I didn't get the chance to go that far. But I needed the investment to do it. Of course, I can imagine.
Okay, yeah.
You know, tech and yeah.
So after the show, was you wasn't able to pursue that business idea any further?
So after the show, while the show was on in 2018, again, remember business wasn't going well for me.
Right.
So like, again, I haven't even told anyone this, but I had nowhere to live. Do you know what I mean? So I'm having to stay at a brethren's house. You know, I don't know, have you ever had to live somewhere when you know they don't want you there? like they don't want.
I've never had to experience it, but I know
it's mad. So it's like, so after we finished filming in like the June of 2018, my family already arranged to go. So I'm from Trinidad, right? We were going to Tobago that summer. So I'm thinking to myself, right, I'll go to Tobago, but when I come back from Tobago, I don't even know where I'm going to live. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to enjoy my time in Tobago, but knowing that when I come back to the UK, where am I even going to live? So I managed to speak to a landlord, and they had a spot. I said to them, look, if I give you 3 months up front, can I get a discount? I'm trying to, negotiate. They said, yeah, if you pay 3 months up front, I can just pay up front just to at least get myself some breathing room. Again, I'm struggling with cash. I'm thinking, so I can't even renew this for another 3 months. So I had a brethren who lived with his girlfriend. I'm saying like, bro, do you mind if I can just, stay at yours for a bit? Do you know what I mean? But a bit turned into a month, turned into,
right.
She don't want, I know that she don't like me. Do you know what I mean? She don't like me.
You at the house.
She don't want me there. So then, yes, at the time, so my main focus, I couldn't even think about doing this tech business idea. I'm trying to just find my feet. So then the main skill I had was my speaking. So I'm doing a lot of speaking, presenting. So it's working, getting, bookings grand upwards, getting bookings. I'm like, yeah, cool, I can do this. So to answer your question, so no, I didn't continue that because I just needed to find my feet first.
Yeah,
you get what I mean? And where I was on The Apprentice for so long, there's no money being made on that.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
So like, I'm in the hole from filming, then I'm gone to Tobago. So for 6 months, I ain't really earned nothing. Do you get what I mean? So then I'm landing back thinking, right, I need to find somewhere to live. That was my behind it.
Okay. But what's interesting is like you've done a lot at a young age, like in your early 20s, you did a lot, especially coming out of uni. Coming out of uni, yeah, especially you had that ambition and you was already doing the events. Nowadays, there's a big argument. I had a massive debate with my dad and my cousin, yeah, about is uni, the young boys need to go to uni anymore? Like, is it that impactful? Is it that important? My argument was that I think that young black boys, especially from London, should still go to uni because we just don't get exposed to enough if we just stayed in wherever we are. But obviously I never went to uni in the UK. I actually ended up living in the States.
Oh yeah, you
I played football
out
there, yeah. So as someone who went through that process, like would you say and argue that yes, uni is still powerful and important for young boys or not, in your opinion?
I think at the time I was so pro uni. I was very pro uni, very pushy. I mean, not that I had to be, but like, I was a vice president, I was a governor, I was a director of the National Union of Students. You know what I mean? So I can't really go say, no, don't go to uni.
Yeah.
But now I think my stance has changed in the sense that it depends on what the person wants to do in their life.
Yeah.
Genuinely, what is it they want to do? If it does require uni, fantastic, go. If it doesn't, perhaps you don't need to go. So for me, I'll definitely say it's like when you go to a doctor, the doctor's not going to prescribe you something without checking what is it you need. Like, not everyone walks into GPs and say, yeah, take this aspirin. Right, my man might need some.
He might need something else.
He might need something else. So I think it definitely depends on the individual. But I agree with you in the sense that it definitely does open your eyes, because I feel like I'm so well traveled and so well cultured now because of university.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, I always give the example, like when I first went there, I still came with a London mentality. Like, I had my sock tucked into my trainers, I mean, I had my hoodie pulled up, Blue Borough, all of that, do you know what I mean? I almost had a madness the first day with a guy there from Brixton, just out of principle, do you know what I mean? But then I remember meeting a girl from Liverpool, and then when she spoke with a Scouse accent, I genuinely thought she was pretending. Like, I genuinely thought she was pretending. Like I thought it was only Steven Gerrard. Do you know what I mean? I just thought that was how Steven Gerrard. I did not know that's how these lot speak. Do you know what I mean? I didn't realize Manchester had an accent because before uni, I really left south. Do you know what I mean? I remember one time we went to Neaston and Wilson, and that felt like a mission. I already left south. So then when I went to uni, I was like, "Bro, you don't really speak like this." Like, bro, like. They really opened my eyes, and of course I'm 18, and that kind of really opened my eyes. And I worked in America at 20, then again at 23. It's like, right, there's more to the world than just staying in the South.
Yeah,
you know what
so
I mean?
uni was a platform for you, to do those kind of things. Okay, cool. So just to wrap up the apprentice stuff, like obviously, what week did you make it to?
Week 7.
Week 7. Yes, you still made it quite far in the process.
Imagine me and Freddie came out the same week, you know. I went in as a speaker, he went as a speaker. I got fired in week 7, he got fired in week 7.
That's funny.
But like, Freddie, you're trying to just like...
But with that being said, like, would you say from a business aspect and even like personal branding and everything around it, was the apprentice beneficial for you? Like, do you...
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because again, it just... put me into worlds which I never had experience in, just understanding it. Like, for example, like I'm now very understanding of the difference between selling a high ticket item versus a low ticket item, and understanding where I personally thrive. For example, I did well selling the low ticket items in the street. You know, I realized I'm very, very good at that with a high ticket. Whereas I've never really had the corporate experience. I was like, okay, this is something I need to learn. So it showed me where my strengths are and where areas I need to improve. So now after that, so when I left the process, when I'm doing my own corporate bookings and stuff like that, I'm remembering things which people like Jackie, for example, she was the queen of sponsorship. You know, she smashed it with corporates, and things I'm learning from her, things I'm learning from Daniel, for example. He was sick on the show, just the way he carried himself, and when they go into the room, okay, cool. No, this isn't a time for a joke. This is a time for, so just learning. So I think it definitely was a good thing. And like I said at the beginning, I realized that every 4 years of my life, I'm doing something big to push myself. So that was what I need to learn from that. Now it's elections, and okay, cool, I need to move like this in this room. I need to do this. I need to do that. Yeah. So it really did help me in my terms of my growth and personal development.
That's wicked. That's interesting as well. Like, you picked up everything from like different people. Okay. So let's get into the mayor stuff, bro. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about anyway. So obviously, I've been following you on TikTok and IG, and I did start to notice you're posting a lot of Lewisham-centric content on your TikTok, especially. And I was seeing a lot of the videos. You're talking a lot about the borough, about what's happening, you know, different things, negative and positive. You know, you would post about you manage the park run in Catford, right? Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of your content around that. So what was that? When you was doing all this content, did you already know you was going to be running for mayor? Or was it just a coincidence?
Well, I know you're a smart guy, do you know what I mean? So you can kind of see, you understand.
He's posting so much content about Catford, I'm like...
And that's the thing, like, anyone I know like you and my other brethren Lewis I told you about as well, anyone who's clued up in business, you can kind of see you understand business, you understand marketing, you understand branding. Yeah. So I'm glad you can kind of see, but it was also a bit of both, because I realized, for example, on my TikTok, I started TikTok in 2019. At the time, because it's quite new, you can very quickly run up thousands. You can go viral. I mean, I'm very picky on what does viral mean, but you can quickly go viral. You know, I did one muscle up video, got like thousands of followers, but then I plateaued I had 6K followers from like 2019 up until 2025.
Right.
So I thought to myself, like, like what? Like, I want to grow my TikTok. What can I do? You know, and to be fair, I took a lot of inspiration from your videos as well, just simply doing it in the car. Like, I don't have to worry about, I mean, yes, we've got a sick podcast setup. You don't have to, you can, but you don't have to. You know what I mean? You don't have to. So like I said, I took a lot of inspiration from you, like took a lot of inspiration from other people. And at the time I was experimenting, okay, cool, what is my sound? So, okay, cool, I love Lewisham Borough. I love running, as you mentioned, and I also love business. So each time when I used to leave my house, drive to the office, as soon as I get to the office, to be consistent, I said, right, I'm not coming out the car until I record 3 videos and just whacking them up onto TikTok. 1 on running, 1 on business, and 1 on Lewisham. Every morning, those 3. Then over time, you can kind of see what does your audience relate to more. Like, I love running, but my audience didn't really care. You know what I mean? They didn't really care. And I thought to myself, I just finished the Chicago Marathon. Surely they want to hear they weren't really interested. Okay, cool. And then I doubled down on business and Lewisham. And I realized, okay, cool. I'm not necessarily the most successful business person. So I'm talking about things someone else can talk about, but they've got the, like your Alex Hormozy, such as your Tim Armoud, such as your Stephen Bartlett.
Can't compete with
We can't. So it's like, okay, cool. That isn't, I haven't earned it yet. And it's reflective in the audience. Then what I realized is that delusion content sticking. Everyone loves it. Everyone wants me to talk about it more. And I think for me, but then there's a lot of things were close to my heart. So for example, when I did come back from the Chicago Marathon, the day I landed on the Wednesdays, there was 2 murders in Catford. And I remember coming back from Heathrow and I was talking to my brother, because my brother's a bit younger than me. And I said, Rod, you know about blah, blah, got murdered? He goes, yeah, he was in my class. And for me, that it upset me. Do you know what I mean? I get quite emotional when people pass away, because for me, I lost a friend when I was 17. He was killed. He was a sick footballer as well, by the way. The girl I was dating at 16, her brother was killed. And it's crazy, like, sorry to quickly go off on a tangent. So I didn't speak to her. Like, it was such a difficult time when I was dating her, because they just lost their mum lost her son, she lost her brother. And it kind of just, the relationship kind of fizzled out. I didn't see her again until 2023. So we're talking like 15 plus years later. And then I said to her, Mum, I don't know if you remember me, but she said, yeah, I do remember you. You're so good to my daughter when she lost her brother. And so when I still hear people passing away, because I've seen both sides of the blade, I've seen the people who unfortunately have gone down for murders and the impact that's had, as well as the people who have lost their lives to murders. So when I saw that one in October, and it's like, right, again, it's close to home, I was like, right, I need to do a video on this, man, because I realized nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. The only thing is that now it's more on social media. So I took out the video, took out my camera, did a video on it, and then it kind of took up. And then I realized, right, people really do. I'm not the only one who cares. A lot of people do care about Lewisham. Then I just, again, every time I come to the office, before I get out of the car, video. Go out the car, video. And then, just continue picking up. And then, of course, people like you who are clued up, you're like, raw, like, he must be trying to run for something. And so it's yes and no. Yes, in the sense that it could, it's great positioning. I know in the sense that it wasn't just a marketing play, because I genuinely care. Like, even without this election, I'll still be doing it anyway. Do you get what I mean? So, yeah.
That's interesting, because I did the same thing. I made a video about Catford and that went viral. I made a video about, like, I basically sat in my car and I was like, what's happening to Catford? Because I was complaining about, like, where the big cat is. That strip right now is just, it's like a small version of Skid Row in LA right now. The way that I see it. And obviously I'm not in the borough as much as I used to be, but my mum's there. So obviously I'm coming every week, every 2 or 3 times a week I'm in Catford. And I'm just walking around and I'm like, right, I don't even want my mum to, I feel like I don't want my mum to be here. It's not safe for her. And I'm not there every day. So if something happens, I can't even, So it's
far.
Yeah, I'm far, bro. So that video went mad and everyone's leaving comments like, yeah, like something's going on. I had people DMing me like, oh, the council's doing this, the council's doing that. So I know people are aware that we need some change in the borough. So for you right now then, from my understanding, Lewisham's always been like a Labour territory. So you're running independently, right? So how do you feel like it's going to be possible to topple that? Because Lewisham has quite a stronghold. Labour has a stronghold within Lewisham, sorry.
You're right. So it's been Labour from even before our time. Labour for 50 years.
Right.
We had the first mayor of Lewisham start in 2002. That was Mayor Bullock. Shouts out to Mayor Bullock. He gave me an award back in 2008. And since 2002, we've always had a Lewisham mayor. Sorry, a Labour mayor.
Labour mayor.
2002. And yes, me being independent is for several reasons. I genuinely believe that the mayor of Lewisham needs to be independent. Because the way the structure of the Lewisham council works, you have the one mayor, then you got 54 councillors. So even in this election, again, I wish there was more awareness and understanding. So there's 2 votes happening. So you've got the mayor election as well as your councillors.
Okay.
And you vote for the councillors who are in your ward. So if you would be in Bellingham, for me it would be Catford, Rushy Green, whatever. So I genuinely believe that the mayor needs to be independent to manage the council without bias, without having to toe the party lines. Because I believe the quote that you can't serve 2 masters. If you're a mayor from a particular party, you got answer to your party HQ. So if you're Labour, you got answer to Keir Starmer. If you're Green, you got answer to Zach Polanski. Now you have to, if you're Tory, you got answer to Kemi. But how can you answer to the National Party as well as to the people within Lewisham at the same time, especially when there can be conflicts of interest? So, for example, even if you're a councillor, for example, the big debate what happened recently was the thing about late night youth clubs. You know, is it a good idea to have youth clubs late at night? Now, Labour, because it's a Labour thing, you know, from Sadiq Khan, all the Labour people, you know, you got to like on it, you got to share it. But if you deep down don't agree with it, but you're a Labour councillor, what do you do? If you're a Labour mayor, you don't agree with it, but all your higher ups are saying, yeah, this is what we're running with. You're kind of pigeonholed. Whereas if you're independent, you don't have to worry about any higher ups. You just have to answer the people to the people in Lewisham. So that's why I generally believe that the mayor needs to be independent to answer to the people of Lewisham, not any higher ups. And as an independent mayor, you can work with anyone. So I have no issues with Labour, no issues with Tories, no issues with Greens. I'm happy to work with whoever. But what you find over the past couple of years of in Lewisham Council, if you watch the council meetings and stuff like that, a lot of times they just spend arguing. You know, this is we're a Labour council. No, this is Green. No, we're Lewisham Council. We're Lewisham Council. Let's get that first and foremost. We're Lewisham Council. Yes, you might come from different things, but it's just like, I know you understand football. Your Premier League team, you're not going to say we're technically it's an English team, but you got players from Spain playing for you. You got players from wherever. It's like that. It's like that. You can't just say that we're from one country. No, you're not. Your Sunday team or whatever Premiership team. You're from different nationalities, and it's the same thing in the council. You got people from different parts. Work together. Don't say things which you know are going to wind up my man, and then half the meeting spent arguing. And again, the reason why I think you need to have independent mayors, because again, you don't owe anyone any favours. So for example, in Lewisham Council, we have one of the worst attendances in the whole country in terms of attendance. So in the country, there's 274-ish councils in the whole of the country. And every year or every periodically, it's ranked on the attendance, you know, just like at school, right? You're ranked on your attendance.
Like how many councillors come to
to the meetings.
Okay.
So out of 275 councils, where do you think Lewisham is in terms of attendance? Obviously, number one's, you got 100% attendance. Everyone's turning up every single week, whatever. Out of the 275, where do you think Lewisham is?
Based on the state of Lewisham, I'm going to say we're bottom 50 at least. Bottom 50.
Yeah, we're like 234.
Oh my days. I'm not surprised by
So it's like, how is it? Why is it we're in this state? You can argue, okay, cool, our councillors aren't even showing up.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So
I never knew that, bro.
And that's the thing. It's like, sorry, I get passionate about this. Do you get what I mean? This is why I think we need to have honest and independent leadership. Because if you're a business owner, which you are, or if you manage a football team, are you going to accept your staff not coming in X number? You'll give them the P45.
Facts.
But in the council, they're getting away with it. We're paying them. Obviously, the councillors get paid, but half the time they're not showing up. Now they're turning up doing door knocking saying vote for me. Like, hang on a minute.
And they're not even there. Wow.
So for me, again, it's why, and I get it, you know, you're a Labour, again, this isn't a direct at any particular person. If you're a Labour mayor, you're Labour council, you don't really want to tell them you're firing you because you're not.
Yeah.
But when you got someone impartial, I'm coming in like, I don't owe anyone any favours. I don't know you, you don't know me. Let's just do what's best for the council, not what's best for any party lines.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's very powerful what you just said, man. And that was also very insightful because I did not know about the attendance thing.
Yeah,
but that makes sense because it makes sense in terms of the state. Because like for you, yeah, I saw a video you spoke about like what's the first thing you would fix in Lewisham, and you spoke about that Rushy Green, Catford area. It's like you would find a way to start fixing that because, you know, like I said in my video, bro, Catford's changed a lot, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, there was always negative things happening, but it felt a bit less visible. Now it's just like on the main roads, bro. Like you're seeing things that kids shouldn't be exposed to on the main roads. Yeah, bro, there's always going to be things happening on dodgy alleyways, but we're seeing stuff on the main roads that we really shouldn't be seeing, innit? Like we really shouldn't be seeing them. If I had a little cousin or nephew that was in Catford, I wouldn't want them walking down. That, even the main road, I wouldn't want them walking down.
Yeah.
So for you, like, what are some of the things that, you know, are high on your agenda to try and fix within the borough?
Yeah, so the reason I touched on the Catford and Rushy Green area, when I went to the mayor hustings where it was a debate between me and other candidates, they asked which area. And yeah, the reason I said this, like you said in your video, is because like our young people and children are being exposed to things they shouldn't have to. And now I'm not saying I don't understand people who take drugs and who misuse substances. I understand life can be difficult, but I do think it's dangerous when they are asking for money in a particular way to people, and if they're dressed in a particular way, whether it's to women, children. I do think that there's a time and a place for it, and I don't think it should be in that way. So in terms of the question, what is high on my agenda, it's not even necessarily that. It's, for me, it's essentially to bring unity back into the borough, to bring that Lewisham pride for people to feel like this is a place where we can look after with each other. Just like, for example, if you're at home, you wouldn't, I mean, I hope you wouldn't spit on the floor or throw your rubbish on the floor. So where's our Lewisham pride? Where's our Lewisham unity? I remember when we used to have People's Day every year, like something that it was something in the borough to look forward to, something we could
massive.
something we could come together and unite. So yes, I understand people who have substance misuse issues. Yes, and I can understand why they want to congregate in the area, but for me, there's definitely a time and a place, and that definitely does. That's why I say hashtag clean up Catford, you know, definitely needs to be help.
That makes sense. So, like, for you at the minute then, what are some of the obstacles you faced running as an independent so far?
Some of the obstacles I have faced is, I think it's almost like lack of knowledge of how the process works.
Oh, okay.
Because nothing is transparent on how to run. So the council didn't put out the information until the 23rd of March. 23rd of March, like,
Yeah.
so unless you're inside, you don't know that you got to get 30 signatures by this day. You don't know you got to pay your £500 to do this. You don't know. Like, for example, we had the candidates briefing on like a Monday, 2 Mondays ago.
Right.
It's like the 16th of April. And by now it's too late. Do you know what I mean? It's way too, that briefing, I said it to Jenny, who's in my team. I said, Jenny, I'm going to the candidates briefing. She was like, bloody hell, that should have happened in December, November, October. Give people time. So unless you're on the inside, unless you know these processes,
You don't know.
you don't know.
Right.
So this is why a lot of people don't stand, because you don't know how to. So for example, when I had to fill in the paperwork to stand in the election, they needed it in by like, I don't know, say the 13th of April.
Yeah.
They say, oh yeah, by the way, you need to go and get 30 signatures by Tuesday to even stand. So I'm just off, bloody hell. And these times it's a bank holiday weekend, you know, the Easter weekend. So I put my story like, yo, who's received their poll card? Let me come to your house and fill that. And you need to have your poll card. And again, this isn't a knock. Most people who follow me or who I know, they don't even know what a poll card is.
Right.
They don't know. Half the people I know have never even voted. They're not in that political arena. Yeah. So now I'm saying to people, yeah, you live in Trinidad, I've got a poll card. What is that? Oh yeah, I remember I threw it away. I didn't think I needed it. So most people, I'm struggling. You know, bank holiday weekend. It's Easter Sunday. I'm driving around trying to get to people's houses. Some say, oh, my postman isn't arrived yet because it's bank holiday weekend. He's coming on Tuesday. I said, what, is your postman in a bank holiday rave? Let me drag him out of the rave. Like, big man, go deliver the mail, blood. I need you to give my man his poll card before on Tuesday. Because it's a bank holiday on a Monday, like, it needs to arrive. So come out the rave, whatever bank holiday thing you're at,
Yes.
deliver it to all of these things which I don't know until. And yes, you know, of course, I know you're big on AI. I'm speaking to AI, you know, what do you know? What can I do? What can I do? There's only so much your ChatGPT and stuff knows.
Yeah, of course.
Unless you're on the inside, because obviously they drag it from resources on the internet, but if the council don't have that information up until...
Can't get it.
So they can't even grab it from online. So all of these things I'm learning in real time. So I say that's some of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, wow. That's mad. And I feel like they do that on purpose, man.
Yeah.
To keep it, like, it's a gatekeeping kind of thing, you know what I mean? That's interesting. Okay, so this is a section of the podcast where I kind of throw some rapid questions at you. We are running out of time, so I want to make sure we can we can get this sorted. So what's the best food spot in Lewisham?
Oh, best food spot in Lewisham. Mine is actually Buddha Taste on Blackheath.
Buddha Taste in Blackheath.
Near the church, yeah.
Okay. Social media, TikTok or Instagram?
TikTok. I just hit 10k followers coming here just now, you know. So I just hit my 10k on Instagram now, but TikTok.
This podcast, you're lucky charm, bro. Sadiq Khan in one word.
You know, I know you say quick fire in it. I met Sadiq before he was mayor, you know.
Okay.
I'd say he's cool, man. Like, I knew him from before.
Okay.
I'll say he's cool.
Lord Sugar, one word.
Again, he's cool, man. Like, we get on.
Okay. What's the best part of Lewisham?
Catford, man.
Catford,
yeah, I'm biased towards Catford, man.
Okay. If you couldn't be mayor of Lewisham, you'd be mayor of...
I wouldn't. I say it's Lewisham or nothing. Yeah, Lewisham or nothing. I wouldn't. I generally wouldn't.
Lewisham or nothing. Okay, cool, man. Final answer. Do you win on the 7th of May? Yes or no?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Love that. Love that. All right, bro. Well, firstly, man, it's been a big pleasure.
Big Howler still.
Yeah, man, the time went fast. I definitely think we got to do a part 2, man. And I think that, you know, I'm wishing you all the best. I do agree with you. I think it would be refreshing and different to have an independent person, you know, elected as a mayor, because like you mentioned, you're not going to have that bias. Obviously, we all have an inherent bias that we carry, but you're not going to be bowing to political structure because, you know, you're an independent person. So, you know, I'm wishing you the best. I'm hoping that, you know, you do get this. Everyone that's watching this, if you're from the borough, make sure you vote. I'm going to slap this on all my socials. We're going to put all your socials in the description. And as we wrap it up, are there any last words you want to say to the people of Lewisham?
People of Lewisham, make sure you turn up to vote on the 7th of May. If you've never voted before, this is your chance to vote for the first time. And I just want to thank everyone who's supported so far. I really appreciate you.
All right, boom. That's the Mind Your Business podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Kayode, I appreciate you coming down, and good luck.
Thank you, man.
May the 7th. I'm hoping that you get it. I can't vote anymore, so I'm gonna have to tell my mum.
Is it? Oh, you're not sure?
I'm not in the borough anymore, so
No, but you're not an electoral.
I don't think so. You know, I don't think so. But I'm gonna make sure my mum votes for you, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure she votes. So I appreciate you coming down, bro.
Appreciate it, yeah, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Peace. Oh.